So recently there's been a lot of interest in DHT, which is the most masculine hormone in the body. It's dihydrotestosterone, it's a derivative of testosterone, and it is it's what separates males from females. It's the most definitive thing that, affects your voice, facial hair, chest hair, genitals, all of the stuff that makes men men. Really, DHT plays a massive role. So obviously guys are interested in that. It's very anabolic, good for muscle, facial hair, a sense of well-being. And I've said before that, there's a lot of YouTubers who will do these videos and they've got massive, like millions of subscribers. And there's loads of these videos where it's like little hacks and tricks you can do to look more attractive, basically, or to appear a certain way. But you've got these guys who have messed up hormones watching these videos, faking it. But the thing is, confidence can't be faked. People can smell it from a mile off. You either have it or you don't. And if you've got messed up hormones, low test and low DHT especially, then it's going to come across as fake. You can't fake it. So the hormonal stuff comes before all of the tricks and the fake stuff, the fakery, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. But in terms of, that's why it matters. And, if you want a good physique, DHT matters. If you want a bedroom performance, if you've got low DHT, it's going to be harder to get it up and keep it up and to last longer. So it's a kind of a big deal. But then a lot of guys will use the justification of being low test and low DHT. They'll say, but DHT makes you bald. And, I think if it was all about DHT, like I'd already be bald by now. Like my test and DHT levels are very high, as you can imagine. Otherwise I wouldn't be talking about this topic. Whereas I have long-term friends who, I've known them since I was kids. They're not really into the testosterone lifestyle. They definitely don't have high DHT levels. And they are massively thinning at the front, bald patch up here. And they're the same age as me. And their father had the same thing, like massively thinning and receding at the front. The father had the same thing at the same age, like 30. Their grandfather had the same thing at the same age. So if you can see what I'm getting at here, it's genetics. The genetic thing seems to be the underlying factor. And then, if you have terrible genetics for male pattern baldness, and you skyrocket your DHT levels, it's going to speed it up. It'll speed up the process. You were going to go bald in your early 30s regardless, so I would just say make more money, get a hair transplant. So, and in Turkey, it's only a few grand. It's like you can't afford $3,000. Like, come on, in your late 30s, you shouldn't be having kids. But anyway, DHT is extremely important. And the whole baldness thing seems to be a bunch of very low testosterone, fearful young guys who are terrified of going bald and being ugly and unattractive to the opposite sex, basically. And I think if your family, if all of them went bald, if all the males in your family had hair loss in their late 20s, I agree that you don't want to overdo the DHT. It's probably a bad idea for you. If you don't have like really bad genetics for hair though, looking at your family members, I think you're being overly fearful over nothing. And you're missing out on the physique benefits, the confidence, the facial hair, all the other stuff we've already spoken about. But DHT is extremely important. It's testosterone on steroids, so it's everything. It's what a lot of you guys are really following me for and reading my emails for, because this is the most crucial hormone. To put some numbers on it, by the way, you want it to be 80 to 100 nanograms per deciliter. That's the ideal range, regardless of your age. Again, health is health. Older men can get away with slightly less. You know, you don't want to put too much pressure on like prostate and that kind of thing. But 80 to 100 nanograms per deciliter. Most men are walking around with like 40. They're not even halfway there. Like, it's just, and then they wonder why they can't gain muscle, or they feel depressed, or they don't feel confident, or whatever. It's like your hormones are literally making these things impossible. But anyway, that's a broad overview for DHT. Click the link below. There is a brand new DHT course, and if you click the link, it'll take you to that page. But more importantly, there's a 12-minute introductory video on what DHT is, and it kind of gives you a bit more detail. And the course is on that page. Check it out. I think you'll find it useful. And stop being so fearful about hair loss. Unless your genetics are awful, in that case, yes, you'll just have to accept a more feminine hormonal structure, unfortunately. But unless your genetics are horrible. Oh, and then you've got hair transplants, for God's sake. Stop being so fearful, and check it out, see what you think.